Hello, my name is Matthew, and welcome to another edition of the SAP Business by Design Supply Chain Management. On this episode, we're going to be working with the product data services. So, in our previous episode, we worked with the product data materials and we saw how to use the material template to create materials, I mean, new materials. So, these are physical materials that we either buy or we sell. And we also saw how to run the list of all the materials in the system. On this episode, we are going to work with the service template and also use the service template to create the services that we either procure or we sell. Okay, so let's get straight into the demo by navigating to the product data work center. Okay, so from the product data, let's see the services that we have already in the system. Okay, so there's a service here with a status with an incomplete status of 80%, and we can also use the status drill down report to see the list of services that are created within the last 31 days. And we can also use the status report to see changes that were made to any of the services in the system within the last 31 days. We can also see incomplete service, which is the current report we are looking at, and we can just click to see all the services in the system. Okay, so I'll be creating a new service template. So, but some of the action button we have here is the edit button, where we can click to edit any of the services. We can also create a new service or create a new task. We can also create services from an Excel template, and we can export some services here. We can delete, copy, or perform mass change to some of the services, just the same way we did with the material in our previous episode. Okay, so going back to the work center product data, uh, let's create a new service template. So from the service template, we have a service template already created in the system, and we can click the new button to create a new service template. So for you to create a new service template, please note you don't need to click the view all button. So if you click the view all button, it means you are actually creating a real service. So for you to create a new service template, you need to define the service ID, unique service ID. So I'm going to use the ST, which means service template 0001, and I'm going to call it service template. Okay, so I'm going to leave the details as default. Then I'm going to click on the product category to define a category for this service. So I'm selecting the services category. We need to define also the unit of measure, which I'm going to set as hours because we'll be charging based on hours. Then, if this service is actually an expense service, probably in your organization, you have a services that you treat as an expense, then you should mark this checkbox because whenever you are creating services that you procure, you can treat those services as an expense, like for example, travel expense. So you can treat them as a travel expense. It can be travel expense, it can be project expense, or any kind of expense that you procure as a service. So you need to just mark them as a service. So let's see and the help tag that we have here. So if you select this checkbox, the service will be treated as an expense for financial purpose. So just uh, what I just mentioned earlier. So from this page, you can activate the purchasing relevant process. So you can see some of the relevant processes there are actually not activated. So I can set the relevant processes and also change the status to active. And also for the sales and distribution chain, I can do the same here by setting the distribution chain. So I'm selecting the two services, and the distribution channel is direct sales. Then the item group. So we have list of item groups here. So like I said earlier, if you're treating this service as an expense, under the item group, you need to define the kind of expense that they have. And if you're just treating it as a service, you need to define the item group that this service should belong to. Like for example, we have fixed price service for projects, fixed price, I mean time and material service for projects, and we have expense, time and material. So expenses that you either procure or you sell, that is time and expense and material based for projects. So I'm just going to select service and service, time and material for service and support eating. So I'm going to activate this. But before that, we can allow cash discount. So I'm going to change to active. Then I will add another row. Choose the service and support pro, direct sales, and this is going to be service fixed price. And I can also allow cash discount. So after doing this, let's activate, and it's activated. So the relevant process is now activated. So for the valuation tab, we need to define the company residence and the account determination group. So let's do that quickly. So I'm selecting Almaker, and the account determination group is the services. So if the account determination group is based on travel and expense, then you need to select it. So this service is treated as a travel expense from the financial point of view. So I'm going to activate the valuation group, and we can quickly add the Innovat company as well. And I'm also going to select this as a service, then activate. So you can quickly define the costing rate and the cost unit. So the costing rate will be based on the currency that you are working with. Okay, so um, you can also define the tax region. Let's quickly do that. Okay, so I'm going to pick the tax region as Germany, and this should be Berlin. The tax type, value added tax. So it should be standard. Then we can leave the rest as blank. So the relevant processes are all activated, and what we just need to do is to save, and all entries are saved, and we can close. So if I refresh, so if we see our service is created, and if we go to the service, we can see this template ID generated. The service template is here, and so let's see, all the information we have here are already entered. So services, valuation, direct sales, cash discount, all are saved, so I can just close. Okay, so let's create our real services. So we can just go back to the product data, and from the service templates, We need to select the service that we created and create from template. Okay, so we need to create the number of services that is required. Okay, so just the same thing we did with the material template, where we explained if you're creating any of the services in preparation mode status, or we are creating with the source data. So if you are creating in preparation mode, it means the service will not be, um, the service status will not be 100%. It means it will not be completed. The status will not be 100% complete. But if you're creating with the source data with the record that we already have, it means you're creating the record 100% record. So I can just select three, that we're creating three services. So I'm clicking OK. Okay, so we can either assign a new service ID or we leave it blank for the system to generate. Then we can give our services names like so. I had to pause the video to quickly enter this information. So we can also see the procurement relevant status as active. Then we can check or uncheck any of the boxes. I think it's grayed out. So that's because when we created the templates, we didn't mention this as an expense. Okay, so from the other relevant process tab, we can activate the sales. So you can see these are the list of all the records that are going to be created with along with the sales relevant process. So if it's going to be activated. So the cash discount is also checked. Then the valuation is also defined and so on. So we can apply the mass change to all the items and click on save to create all the items. Let's see if there will be any error. So your entries are been saved and successful. So let's close. And if we go back to the services, let's see the services that are created for us. So from the view all, from the all services report. So we have all the three services created and the IDs were auto generated for us. Okay, so that is that for the training. So let's click on to see the full information of the service that I created. So this is the full information. We can click the view all to see more information on this, like the purchasing is active, the sales is active, the valuation and taxes all are active. All right, so that is that for this episode. If you have any question, please leave a message in the comment section. Thank you and bye for now.